Alright everybody, hello and welcome back to Watching Walford. Over the last couple of weeks we've been fairly slow on the news uptake, so we've decided to bring it all together in one lovely big long episode and cover all of the bases. So I suppose let's just shed some light on what stories will we be bringing today. Obviously Ian, Beale and Cindy's return. That has been reported. It was initially reported by The Sun, and then it got picked up by all the other publications from there, and it seems just about as legit as anything else is. This is obviously controversial, because Cindy was said to have actually just died when she was giving birth to Cindy. So, sounds weird, and sounds dumb when you say it like that, but you know, we'll get into it a little bit later. Next up is Stephanie Davis, a obviously former Sinead O'Connor in Hollyoaks, has been tipped to join the Cobbles in Coronation Street. As, well, there's a storyline where there's going to be a big affair with Stephanie, or Courtney, that's her name in the show, will be having an affair with Dev's son, Addy, who... he's becoming a man now, because he's been given an affair storyline. Another surprise return, as Lucy Benjamin will return to EastEnders as Lisa Fowler. This seems like it will just be her showing her face as Keanu's looking ready to gear up and marry Sharon, but just to her be like, what about your other kid, dickhead? How about this kid, motherfucker? How about your, child? Moving on like Louise didn't happen, are you? Yeah, well. It's all the chaos. It's supposed to be short and it's supposed to be fun. Another Hollyoaks storyline, as Neve Blackshaw essentially did a video discussing how obviously her character, Juliet Nightengale, has been suffering with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which I'll be honest, I think is Hollyoaks' favourite cancer, as I remember it being used multiple times. As essentially the cancer's terminal, which means Juliet Nightengale will die at the end of the story. Obviously, you can draw parallels to this and the EastEnders storyline, and we'll shed some light there, and I'll give my takes on which one is doing a better job. And it is. And another slightly lighter story, as there's a lot of darkness in this. Obviously, George Knight of the Knight family has been teasing a surprising friendship. Someone who doesn't really have a lot of friends on the show. Is it a good sign for his future? You'll have to wait and see. And finally, and finally, the British Soap Awards in 2023 is coming to you on the Tuesday 6th of June, which we will be live reacting to, or at least that's the plan right now. What a rundown, Piggy.
You did great.
Cheers, mate. I always wanted to be a news reporter.
Sorry, I'm half awake. Yeah, I've just come off a nap. I'm just running off. Yeah.
Fumes.
Pepsi raspberry.
Ooh. Never tried it before. Alright, let's get into the first story. So, some characters are allowed to return from the dead. Not Roxy, of course. She's still dead. According to various media reports, Adam Woodyates will be making his long-awaited return to Walford later this year, alongside Michelle Collins, who played Ian's wife, Cindy Beale. This was announced, as I said earlier, by The Sun, and it got picked up further. And essentially, they've apparently started filming new scenes, and they will probably be on the square by the end of the year. Which, you know, just to make myself feel more important, I made a bold prediction that Ian will definitely be back on the square by 2025. How about that, dickheads? How about that prediction today? Fucking nailed it, did I? You wanna know why he's back? His divorce is probably done, and he's like, well, EastEnders, I'll come back if you pay me double. They're like, oh yeah, Ian, sure.
Will they kill him off?
No, he's been there from the start.
Imagine they brought him back just to kill him off. Yeah, you can come back, but you left us, Ian. You left us. And,
I suppose it'll be the reason this is exciting is because obviously Ian and Cindy had a pretty checkered past. As you know, they were together for a decent amount of time, and obviously Ian's son, well, kind of adoptive son, Stephen Beale, wasn't even his. And also, at some point, Cindy hired a hitman to try kill Ian. Classic EastEnders. just have that little bit of knowledge and have that like settle in. She did hire a hitman to try kill him.
I have no words because like I'm half awake here and I'm like, is he telling the truth or is he lying?
Is this a fucking fever dream? And I suppose
this is like some dream that I'd have.
Yeah, like it is just a fever dream. And obviously this is the last time Ian last appeared at Dot's funeral. And that's where the seed was laid, like, oh yeah, love, I'll come home soon. And it's them bringing back Cindy Beale. It's going to be a little bit weird, because I don't even know her as Cindy Beale. I know her as Stella Cox in Coronation Street, as that's where she was for a couple of years. You know, she was like a fairly, like, brazen kind of matriarch character, didn't take any shit. And if she's back for good, I'm honestly quite happy for this, because, like I said, soap is missing. A lot of soaps are missing strong matriarch characters, and that's why I love the Elaine storyline right now, because she will fucking stand up for herself. And like, I welcome it, because I feel like most families in the shows, because the show's been going on for so long, a lot of the characters who were there initially, which bolstered like the numbers, they're all fucking dead now. So you need the numbers. You need all the characters. So yeah, Ian and Cindy will be returning. I would like to see if they brought back one of the like Beale kids as well. It's kind of hard to do as Lucy's dead, Stephen's dead, and Cindy is played by Mimi Keene, who, well, she's probably bigger than the show at this point. You know, played
who the fuck is Mimi Keene?
She played Ruby in Sex Education. She's, you know, she's ascending beyond time to do soap stuff. Yeah. So, unfortunately, they kind of have murdered all of the Beales.
They can bring Lucy back. Like, if Cindy can come back from the dead, and Lucy can come back.
Yeah, but nah, you can't. You could never bring Lucy back. They spent a year building up to her death, and it was fucking Bobby. It's like, what the fuck, lads? Just have it be Max or something.
Yeah, but could you imagine the storyline where Bobby finally sees Lucy?
Oh, he'd be shitting himself. What the fuck?
Oh, they killed you.
I'll do it again. Wait. I suppose one thing that'd be funny. It'd be funny to see like active fit Ian Beale if he keeps up on his like midlife crisis. Because when Ian left, he was looking fucking rough. So hopefully, he's looking a little bit better now. Like, it was not to just entirely shit on an actor's appearance, but he managed to look older than fucking Gillian Telforth, who plays Kathy. But then again, Kathy's like, or the actress is some like mad fuck who just doesn't age. But regardless, any other thoughts about the Ian and Cindy return?
Ian has pretty much been in EastEnders every year, hasn't he?
Yeah, pretty much.
I understand people go, but he wasn't in 2022. He was at that funeral, you pricks. So take that up.
I mean, he was gone for 2.5 years.
Yeah, but you don't know now. But yeah, Ian, bring back Lucy. That's it.
I'm not going to agree to that, but I think Ian always has his place on the square, and hopefully they make him less. Because when Ian left, they really wanted to make people like. I'm not saying it felt like they wanted to do a whodunit, but he became fucking nasty. Like he battered Tina at some point. He started like mortgaging or remortgaging a bunch of Kathy's like properties. He started funneling money, all because he felt guilty over killing Denny. And yeah, it was wild times. Hopefully they give him he's dead. And there we are. Now continuing onward to some Hollyoaks news. As stated earlier, Stephanie Davis, formerly known as Sinead O'Connor in Hollyoaks, has joined the cast of Coronation Street in a storyline that is going to be a bit of an affair between her character, Courtney Vance, and Addie Allahan, obviously son to Dev, and a character on the show who's pretty fucking good. I'll say that much. He's got that comic timing down. He's able to do the serious stuff. He's pretty good. And so yeah, obviously when teenagers in soap become adults, they usually start to get a little bit more scandalous stuff. So obviously what's been announced so far is Stephanie Davis and Brian Early will be married couple Courtney and Darren Vance, the latter of whom will be partnering with Dev Allahan on business projects. However, Courtney soon wants Dev's teenage son to become her toy boy lover, leading to a passionate affair that's sure to have dangerous consequences. Mate, I'm not saying I love the chaos, but sometimes the chaos is fucking fantastic television. And like I said, there'll be a lot of fun stuff. Obviously, Addie's biggest storyline was a relationship with Kelly Nealon, which culminated in her leaving. Now she's doing Doctor Who, on and upwards to better things. And it gave him the spotlight that he actually needed to feel a bit more comfortable in the role. Continuing on the reading, as Courtney comes up with secret ways that she can meet Addie, the teen finds himself entwined in an ever-complicated web of lives. And these two characters debut in July. Gotta be exciting. I'm looking forward to it, because at this point, for me, Coronation Street has retrieved its crown from Hollyoaks before being my favourite soap right now. There's just a lot of cool stuff going on the cobbles, and it's gonna be good fun. I'm excited for the year. I think Coronation Street's the show that I've watched the most back of like older years. And yeah, and I suppose to give Stephanie Davis more merit, obviously she played Sinead O'Connor in Hollyoaks, and Sinead O'Connor is the most Scouse person you'll ever know. She mouths off at everyone, whether she means to or not, but showed a genuine side there in her relationships where she was genuinely like vulnerable and actually like this, you know, it's mostly just a front, all right? I do just want to be happy, like, and there's it's just a cool little. It's just been good stuff. It's been good stuff, and affair storylines are always fun. I always say that soaps aren't messy enough, and affairs don't really happen so much, or at least how it feels, and they should more. Let's break up all of your least favorite relationships. It's what made Denise the most interesting, like one of the most interesting characters so far this year.
True.
But yeah, exciting Coronation Street news. Also, if anybody knows him, I got no idea who this is. Ryan Early. No fucking clue who that is, I'll be honest. He's not done anything. So, who knows? Obviously, he's just there to get cheats done, so. Lovely stuff. And I suppose it's definitely Ian McLeod, the exec producer, said, "In Stephanie and Ryan, we have these two fantastic actors as the catalyst for this fun and fiery storyline. Addy will quickly find himself way out of his depth as he risks everything for Courtney. And while it is the best time he's ever had in his life, he stands to end up in a whole heap of trouble." Lovely. Chaos. And with that aside, let's go onward to another EastEnders return, one of the more favoured characters, and another character that will hopefully get the respect she deserves. On her arrival, Lucy Benjamin returns as Lisa Fowler. So, as far as everybody knows, last time Lisa Fowler was here, she was here in 2019, involved in Louise's leaving storyline as Tilly Keeper wanted to depart the show after a good couple of years. So she's also started doing more high-profile stuff. Obviously, this came at the time where Keanu was shagging both of Phil's, his daughter and his wife, got both of them pregnant. And Lisa will be returning with Peggy, obviously Keanu and Louise's child. And in all I can tell, she's gonna cause fucking chaos. But also, she doesn't actually know that Keanu's alive. As far as she knows, Keanu's dead. Because that was a part of Louise's exit storyline. They'd finally convinced her, we're gonna get rid of Keanu. He's fucked over his family far too much. And yeah, so as far as they know, he's dead. So it'll be crazy scenes. Obviously, it'll be Lisa will be back to take the piss out of Sharon and Keanu for getting married, and probably not much else. What do you reckon? See much of Lisa Fowler?
No.
No, it's completely fresh then. Well, I suppose another interesting bit, they also kind of tacked on this bit where obviously Lisa's suffered pretty heavily with mental health issues as a character. And back in 2019, that was when Bex Fowler was also doing the same thing, where she tried to take her own life and it didn't work, but she was pretty much the only one who'd actually went, is Bex okay, guys? Is she actually alright? But yeah, otherwise it's gonna be, like I said, more chaos, more upheaval. Keanu and Sharon gonna be rattled. Maybe Phil will actually be a little bit nicer to her this time, but hard to tell. Obviously, Lisa and Phil were together, had an affair, and she was the one who shot Phil back in the day. So do it again.
The first one or the second one?
The first one. So yeah, it's will be fun to see what happens when Lisa Fowler returns. But does it say when this happens? It's likely in summer. It'll likely be like a little summer return. Throw a spanner in the works for Sharon and Keanu, and remind Keanu that he's got 2 kids at the age of like 23. You cock stallion.
You fucking slag.
But back to some more slightly sadder news as we're going back to Hollyoaks and talking about Juliet Nightengale's fate as the cancer is terminal. So, obviously the actress Sinead Blackshaw kind of essentially announced that the character Juliet Nightingale's Hodgkin lymphoma, which, as I said before, is Hollyoaks' favourite type of cancer. The illness is terminal, and it's essentially it started this like Channel 4 like campaign to try and obviously bring awareness to Hodgkin's lymphoma and actually kind of like praise the character and just bring a bit more light to it. Obviously Juliet Nightingale's been in the show for a couple of years at this point. She had a County Line storyline where she was involved in like drugs and got groomed. And she is leaving the show after 5 years. It'll be pretty. Okay, this is where we can bring you in, Big. Lola's cancer journey has been pretty fucking sad the entire time, right?
Yes, that is true.
And you know, as we've been going through it, we've been sad for like the last 3 months, as it's just been getting worse and worse. Right?
Yes.
This isn't really happening with Hollyoaks, I'll be honest. And it pains me to say, as at some point I would call it my favourite show. For such an important character as Juliet, it's just kind of whimpering out. It's just like, why she suddenly got cancer? She's suddenly, she's dying. She's dead. She's dying now. It'll be very sad when she actually dies. But unlike the Lola story, it hasn't really been given as much time to like breathe. And that's probably it's a bad precedent, because she's been on the show for 5 years, and it's probably been one of the more like important characters on the show, having some of the more like high profile storylines, and to see her just kind of die and go out in a whimper is pretty fucking tragic. But I guess it is the way of Hollyoaks, where so many characters have like a lifespan of about 2 years. So it's a shame, but hopefully she moves on to bigger and better things. And obviously it'll be sad when she dies, but yeah, it probably won't really last too long. Anyways, after that sad announcement of Juliet just straight dying, we move on to some slightly more upbeat news, that being George Knight of the Knight family coming on the 1st of June. So they've teased a little bit more about George Knight. He is not going to be friends with Alfie Moon, but he is going to be mates with fucking Phil Mitchell, which is going to be pretty exciting for the show, as Phil doesn't have mates. He has business associates, he has enemies, he has family, but he doesn't really have any friends. So essentially, obviously him and his 2 daughters being brought in, they're being characterized like Ronnie and Roxy, where here's Gina, she's quite frosty and struggles to get along with people, and here's Anna, who is a bit of an airhead and wants to have fun, but don't underestimate her. And it's like, all right, someone's gonna get fucking, someone's gonna get dressed down. And we also get to hear a little bit more. The Phil and George relationship will strike up, as apparently George is a former boxer from the East End, and so, you know, Phil knows about him. And they strike up a good friendship, and it's pretty good. Like I said, it's pretty exciting stuff, because I would love to, like I said, Wholesome Phil has been probably some of my favourite parts of this year. And, like, we love Wholesome Phil, don't we?
We actually do love Wholesome Phil. I think he's one of the best characters on the show, Wholesome Phil.
Not Gangsta Phil, though. Gangsta Phil can fuck off. But Family exactly. Phil, Wholesome Phil. It's all about him. Also, it teases what that knight is doing there, because George brings it everywhere. So the knight that stood behind Stacy could be symbolic, could also just be George's like set dressing that he wants to bring to the show. Probably feels like he's going to help him out at some point. As he's been characterized as this like kind, like soft at heart, but this like kind of hardened like gent, you know. Former boxer, he's battering someone, let's be honest.
The 1-2 Chris Brown.
The 1-2 buckle your shoe. 3-4 jaw on the fucking floor.
5-6 Nike kicks.
And yeah, so and we also got a bit more as to how they've been like trying to build up the nights. It says George will arrive with his daughters Anna and Gina on Thursday, June 1st. Linda is shocked as she realises Elaine always planned for her family to move to Walford from Marbella to help run the Vic. Obviously, people think that Elaine actually orchestrated the break-in herself, so she could actually be like, "Oh, we need a man in here." And Linda's like, "Nah, mine's gone." Obviously untrue, it was the Panasars. And they asked the Chris Glenshaw, was it always a plan? He says, yes, definitely. The plan was always to bring a new family into the Vic. I think Kelly, who plays Linda, has done a phenomenal job over the last decade. She is the heart of the square. Untrue. From a fan's perspective, Linda is one of the most eye-rolly characters in the show. She's always a dickhead. She always, like, gets her good lines and makes other people come across worse. Good actress, but Linda's not exactly the most, not the nicest character. But hopefully, the inclusion of this new family will lead to a bit more. It'll give us something to bounce off, because obviously she had Linda. Oh, not she had Linda. She had Shirley. She had Mick. She had her kids to all like play off, and they all made her seem a little bit better than she was. And now she's got a new family to do that with. You know, two of George's daughters, so she can like maybe like help guide along the way. Hopefully her and Elaine start to get a little bit closer and have that close like family bond, and you know, it's an exciting time. As obviously, when you bring in any like people into the Vic, except when Sharon and Ian were in the Vic when they bought it for about 2 months, obviously it's a pretty exciting thing, because the Vic's the heart of the square, not Linda. The Vic is. It's the pub, everybody goes there, all the big scenes are in there. It's pretty integral to the show. So having these people thrust upon this pedestal is pretty big. So let's hope it's sink or swim, and let's hope that none of these characters only last a year. Let's hope that beyond their initial storyline, they continue to get a lot of love, and not just don't just Habiba in it and Ikra it, where it's like, oh, they've got their big storyline. The one's a gay Muslim, and the other has an affair. And then what do they do afterwards? Nothing. At all. And just to finish the article, they said, incredibly keen along the team to build on to that and explore the peacocks, but then that ultimately evolved into the night. We started developing the family last January and February on paper for a hell of a long time. In the hands of these wonderful, talented actors, they have all exceeded expectations, even more extraordinary when viewing the episodes. While Phil is not known for playing nicely along other alpha males, it seems like a different story where George is concerned, and on who's affected by the family's arrival. Venshaw continued, the nights come with a lot of baggage because they're at the heart of the show and the square. There's a lot of interactions with most of the community. The family arrive as their community have just lost Lola and they're ready to thrust into the world going through that process. Okay, I'm immediately making a prediction. Gina and Anna are gonna arrive in I don't know if they're gonna have a wake or everybody's just be mourning Lola. And they're probably gonna give them the Ronnie and Roxy, what? Did somebody die? And everybody's like, yes. Yes, you fucking pricks. They're getting that for sure. And yeah, just more about Phil, but otherwise, yeah, that has been all of the George Knight news. Surprisingly long segment, despite not actually being much new information, but exciting nonetheless, as the family in the Vic is always important. Let's hope they last. But the final news is the British Soap Awards 2023, as we've finally received a new airing date, when it is gonna come out, when it's gonna be live. So the British Soap Awards, obviously it's been about for years at this point. The staple as a soap fan. I don't like soap shows other than the actual program. I'm not watching the big quiz. I'm not watching any of this other shit. But the Soap Awards is always fun because it's the one time where you get to look back on the year of soap and actually go, fuck, that was actually quite good. I don't know about you, Piggy, but I'm really bad at recalling what happens over a year. So it's nice to have a show pretty much to wrap up. Here's all that happened. Here were the integral things. And this is what you reckon. Is this your first Soap Awards?
Yes, it is.
I'll be there giving out all the information. Right, so Piggy, the reason why this is good is because basically this is the storyline. It's actually been going on for fucking 10 years right now. But yeah, the airing date is Tuesday, June 6th at 8 PM. The current idea is to do a live reactions to it, and then we get to maybe we'll make ourselves sit down and actually go through, and actually maybe we vote for the Soap Awards. Maybe we actually vote for it. All EastEnders people. No, but it'll be a fun way to wrap around the year and see how it comes across. But regardless, that has been the huge news edition of Watching Walford. I have been Ash, and I've been joined by a very sleepy Piggy.
I have been Piggy from Phil's Bat.
Exactly. And let's make sure to, like I said, catch up on this current set of news, but also make sure to watch the Lola live stream on the 31st, and the Soap Awards on the 5th. And yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.